you that I don't know how many people read instruments or know anything about it. That sounds like really tense, right? Yeah. And if you're tense when you breathe in, the only thing you can do when you breathe out is, which is hopeless for the whole, right? Because you need to control the airstream. So if you try and take a breath and get this low, rasping sound, you try and get that. I bet it feels completely different, right? Yeah. Much more open. Try to do more. And then when you're blowing through the horn, imagine you've got like a birthday cake with one candle. And your job is not to blow the candle out. It's to just make it flicker a little bit, right? So it's not, yeah, so again, take one of these breaths, and then I want you to breathe out like slowly over four. Now we're not saying anything else. Just focus on that and let's play the first phrase again. Okay? Yeah, good, stop. So, first phrase actually was much better. But then when you had to take the breath here, you went backwards. So let's completely, don't worry about tempo. Every time you take a breath, take your time and make sure that you're taking one of these really deep breaths because you've got to retrain your body, you know, because our brains, it doesn't know right and wrong, it just knows what we do. So we have to just feed it with the good information. And so when you've got to change something like this, you just have to start slowly. But that's cool, everybody does that. So like this, yeah? We're going to get there, I promise you. Don't stop blowing the air. You know? You're going to see some string players later, and our air is like their bow. If you imagine that they're playing with their bow, the moment they stop the bow, they have no sound, right? Yeah. And it's a bit the same with us. At the moment we stop blowing down this instrument, doesn't matter how good your technique is, there's going to be no sound. Yeah. So just focus on getting air through the horn. Yeah? Take a breath. It's free. Look, just imagine, just by changing the hand, listen to how different the intonation is. It's without doing anything. Okay, I'm going to stop you. Between the D and the E, you don't believe in yourself. Yeah? And I can hear it even before you play the E. Just really go for it.
So playing it, I feel like I get most uncomfortable with like my four fingers, and when I really have to stretch. So in times like that, I tend to like slow down and practice, and it kind of like, yeah. So then like when I'm about to play, it takes me like a while to warm up and to kind of be confident when I'm playing, because I've kind of struggled with like my holding up my violin, like I tend to bring in my wrist a little bit. It makes it harder for me to reach those high notes. So then I kind of struggle with like fourth fingers or like trying to play a third position in my new song. It's been kind of hard for me because I'm trying to like readjust to all that kind of getting that confidence.
Okay, so it sounds like there's a lot to think about at the same time, right? You've got your left hand, and is it your fourth finger of your left hand that you're worried about?
Yeah, it's kind of like my fourth finger.
Okay, I would love to try a couple of different exercises, and we can try it a couple different ways. Does that sound good?
Okay.
Okay, so the first thing I want to try, just to focus on the left hand, is I would like to hear you play the very beginning, pizzicato, plucking the string and without the bow. Is that okay? You could just put the bow down right here. And I'll play this. way, you can try to make your sound as resonant, as ringing as possible. And when you pizzicato, you can actually make a lot of noise, right? Can you give it a try just at the very beginning, like this? Yeah, can you hear how much those notes are ringing? Can you do it again and make sure that even that last note, the D, when it's really in tune, it's going to ring a lot. Can you try just that note? Yeah, okay. It's hard to hear because there's a bit of noise, but if you're listening, this is much more ringing than this. Do you hear that? Okay, try. Okay, good. So try. Beautiful. Okay, so pizzicato is a really good way to practice your ringing notes and also your intonation. When things are really in tune, they're going to ring a lot better, and that's our goal. Okay. I need a little tool. Does anyone have a pencil? Just like a pen or a pencil that I can borrow really quickly? That's great. No. Yeah, good. Okay, so I'm seeing that sometimes in your hand it feels a little bit tense. Do you feel a little tense when you play? So this time when you play, I'm just going to do a little something to help open up your hand. Is that okay? So I'm going to go like this and see if we can find a little tunnel under your the neck of your violin. Okay? So go ahead and set up your violin as if you're going to play, but don't play yet. Okay? All right, and then I'm going to go in like here. Perfect tunnel. Okay? And then go ahead and put down your first note, the G. Is it still there? Excellent. Okay, go ahead and play.
That feels kind of weird.
Weird? Yeah. Good. Yeah. Okay, good. How was that?
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Feels a little weird. So the more fingers that we put down and the harder it gets, and the more tight we get right here. And then that actually makes it harder for us to play. So if you have a friend that can help you, just remind you to open up right here. Go ahead and put your violin back up. Right here. So that your thumb stays nice and open, okay? Because when you put your, go ahead and put down 1, 2, 3, 4 your fingers. Yes, that looks amazing. Okay? So just remember you want that nice and open palm, and that will really help your intonation and your ringing notes. Okay? Do we have time to keep going a little bit, or do we need to?
I think we should,
wrap up?
yeah, I'm not sure.
Okay.
Thank
Great
you.
job.
And can I forgot to ask you to introduce yourself
Oh, yeah.
before.
Hi, my name's Natalie. I play violin. I live in Boston, but I grew up in New Zealand, and I'm really happy to be here.
Our final student performing for the masterclass is Lady Theodora. She'll be doing Vivaldi, violin concerto E minor. Lady Theodora is a sophomore in high school. She's also started with us in our Suzuki String program as a first grader.
together is your right hand. So before we talked about what we're doing in our left hand, and now I want to talk about your contact point. Now, can you listen for me? I'm going to play two different ways, or two different contact points. That's where the bow touches the strings. And can you tell me which one sounds more resonant and beautiful? Okay? Okay, so no peeking, all right? Okay, that's the first one. Okay, ready for the next one? Okay. And maybe I'll give you a third option too, okay? Number 3. Okay, so tell me which one is the most beautiful and resonant one.
Oh, the first.
Yes, yeah, definitely the first one. Okay, so do you want to see where I was playing? So the first one was here. I was right here between the bridge and the beginning of the fingerboard, and I went like this. Okay, right in between, right in the middle lane. Okay. The second one I was over the fingerboard. You guys hear the difference? And then the third one, I was right here over the bridge, which gets really scratchy. Okay, so our goal when we're playing as violinists is to stay in the middle lane. Okay, so you're probably too young to drive, right?
Right.
Oh, okay, excellent. Okay, so we always want to stay in the lane because we're changing lanes, and we always use our signal, right? And what happens when we swerve and go out of our lane without warning? Probably bad things. Yeah, bad things. Okay, so we want to stay in the lane. So in the very beginning, do you think you could play like this much without the music? Yes? Okay, excellent. So instead of looking at the music, I want you to be looking right here. And let's see if we can stay in the lane. Right? Yes! Okay, that was so much better. Yay! Okay, can you guys hear and see the difference? Yeah, so I would like you, when you're practicing, to try that all the way through the piece. Do you think that's possible? Yes. It's hard to do it when you're looking at the music, right? So you can choose little sections that you know you can play without the music, and go ahead and just practice that a little bit, up and down that here. Okay? So, but then, the more that you practice that, the more you'll be able to do it without even thinking about it. You'll be playing in the right lane. Okay? Alright, one thing that really helps you play in the right lane is to open up your elbow when you play like this. Okay? Because if you don't open up your elbow on a down bow, this is going to happen, and then this happens, right? And then we slide out of the lane. Okay? So try that one more time and be thinking about opening up your elbow right here. So you've got a right angle, 90 degrees, and then we go all the way out. Okay? Yes, exactly. Okay, so try, put your bow in the middle. Okay, lift your bow, put your bow at the tip. Excellent, and then put your bow at the frog. Yeah, this one's hard. You might need to bend your pinky right here. Feel weird? Okay, go try it one more time. Middle. Tip. Frog. Ooh, tricky. Okay, go back to the middle. That's it. Maybe like this. And now do a beautiful down bow for me. Keep your eyes on there. Okay, try again. As soon as we took our eyes away, it had a mind of its own. Excellent. Okay, try from the beginning one more time. From here, okay? And we're going to try and stay in the lane. And you can look up at the music when you need to, okay? help. But sometimes, do you feel like your bow hand gets tight sometimes?
Yeah.
A little stiff. Okay, so let's try one thing, and this is going to feel weird, but don't worry, it's just an exercise. I want to see if you can lift your pinky off the bow. Okay, so go ahead and lift, and then can you go like this for me? How does that feel? Different? Okay. It's just an exercise because sometimes we get really straight and tight, and so we just lift it off to remind ourselves that we don't need to tighten up like this. Okay? So again, let's just try the very beginning, and then I think we'll be done. So, are you ready? We're going to lift up your pinky. Okay, ready? Go ahead. Good. And you know what? I think your sound is a lot more ringing. So sometimes when we're, the tighter we are, the tighter our sound gets. But when we're relaxed, the sound really goes out, and we can really enjoy that. Okay? Beautiful job. Thank you for playing.
So I'd like to invite our guest musicians up. Before we sort of go into your pieces, could you just get a photo with the kids real quick, with all you guys up here with your instruments? Because otherwise it doesn't happen, and then everybody is off in there. So Tyson and Andy and Lady, come on up here. And once all the musicians are up with their instruments, we'll just kind of have you guys, everybody sort of stand together a photo. Thank you all so, so much. Lady, come over here. Actually, I'm going to have you go in between the two drums. So Andy on this side, Tyson on that side.
Is this good or something?
Yeah, I think that works.
Do you want?
Yes, I would love all of the musicians together, please. Thank you. 3, 2, 1. Thank you so much. So I would like to introduce At the World's Edge Chamber Ensemble from New Zealand, correct?
Thank you so much.
Can I, before you start, can I suggest you come and sit closer so you can see and hear?
Yes, talk your instruments down and come up nice and close. And if you guys have a couple seconds, I would love if you could introduce yourselves a little bit, about the music you're playing, and a little bit about that ensemble and the festival.
Of course. Hi everyone. Such a pleasure to be here with you all. My name is Ben. I'm Artistic Director of At the World's Edge Festival. And At the World's Edge is a chamber music festival that happens every spring here in Chicago and also in New Zealand, which of course springtime is October. And we've been in Chicago for the last week doing a mixture of programs with some music by Chicago composers, music by New Zealand composers, and a few European greats in there as well. So we've got a few things to play for you this afternoon, sort of a mixture of those things. And I'm going to hand it over to Natalie with the first one, if that's all right, and she's going to tell you a little bit about it.
Okay, so I will be playing a piece for solo violin by a New Zealand composer named Gareth Farr, and it's called Wakatipu, which is the name of a lake in New Zealand. It's a really beautiful part of the country, and a lot of composers feel inspired to write music about nature. This particular lake has a legend about how it was formed, how it was created. And the legend goes that there was a demon who had abducted the daughter of the local chief, and so he was a bad guy. And when he was defeated, all that remained of him was his heartbeat, and that causes the rising and the falling of the water in the lake. So the demon is still there, just his heartbeat. So in this piece, you'll hear a lot of the rhythm of a heartbeat, really quick and pretty intense. And what I love about music is that there's so much storytelling that can go on. Even though I play an instrument that doesn't produce words, it's still singing and it's still telling a story. And I think that's a really wonderful thing. So I hope you enjoy it. I'm just going to take 1 second to set up.
Okay, so that was Gareth Farr's Wakatipu, which was written about the Lake Wakatipu in the South Island of New Zealand, which also happens to be where At the World's Edge performs every October. Our next piece is also by another New Zealand composer called Selina Fisher, and this piece is called Mata O. Now, Mata O is the Maori name for New Zealand's second longest river, which happens to also have its source, its beginnings, in our region of New Zealand, in the South Island, but a different lake, not Lake Wakatipu, but Lake Wanaka. And so this piece was inspired by, and first performed in a venue overlooking this lake, and is inspired by the idea of new beginnings and the idea of a great body of water that's just starting to move into become a river, and the idea of the long journey it's about to embark upon. It also happens that Selina was born in New Zealand but has Japanese heritage, and the words Mata-o also have a meaning in Japanese, which happens to be they happen to be to meet again. So this piece is inspired by those two ideas. one last piece all together, and I realised we haven't actually told you who each of us are yet, so we'll get to that as well. Obviously, Natalie, you've met too. I was actually born in New Zealand but moved to the UK when I was quite young to study music. I'm now privileged to spend my life performing around the world.
Oh, sure. I'm Julia. I am currently based in Columbus, Ohio. I teach at the Ohio State University, and I'm playing a piano trio.
Hi everyone, my name is Zoe. I am born and raised in Hawaii, so not too far from New Zealand, but I live in New York City now. It's still kind of far. But relatively a lot closer.
Yes, and then the other band. As you probably can tell, like for chamber music festivals like this, we don't play together all year round. We come together especially for the festival. So we've been together rehearsing and performing for the last week. And then after this we'll go our separate ways again. And, we'll meet perhaps at this festival or another festival in the future. But it's very much about individuals coming together and in the same way as when you make music with anyone, right? You learn things from them and different ideas and you share those ideas, and that's part of the spirit of what a chamber music festival is. So to finish, we've got a piece by a British composer called York Bowen. As you can tell, it's a quintet because there's 5 of us on stage, and it has a horn in it, so this is his horn quintet.
today, and I know that our students really enjoyed the opportunity to work with everybody. So safe travels. We'll have some refreshments in the back if you have time to grab a quick bite. But thank you all so much at the World's Edge Chamber of Commerce.
Yeah.
I wish I were here from the beginning.
Yeah. Yeah, man.